George Floyd, George Bush, Georgia Guidestones, the devil in Georgia, and 9/11. I have a code here that will at least make everyone you send it to reflect on the information. Now, it was originally reported that George Floyd was knelt on by Derek Chauvin in the Twin City of Minneapolis for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And 9/11 began at 8:46 a.m., which resulted in the Twin Towers coming down. The hijacked Flight 11 was crashed into floors 93 to 99 of the North Tower of the World Trade Center at 8:46 a.m. 8:46 is a symbol of police brutality after George Floyd's death. Okay, because originally it was reported that George Floyd was knelt on for 8 minutes and 46 seconds by Derek Chauvin, a white police officer. Now this right here, guys, is just mental illness. Now, so the 8 minutes and 46 seconds was then changed conveniently to 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Prosecutors say Derek Chauvin knelt on George Floyd for 9 minutes and 29 seconds, longer than initially reported, and we're supposed to trust the media. Look at this face mask here, guys, 8:46 on it. So it got changed to 9:29, and I knew straight away why. Because the Old Testament of the Bible has 929 chapters, and we are living out Revelation, guys. We're living out the end of days. Okay? That is why we're now told that George Floyd was knelt on by Derek Chauvin for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. It's mockery from the devil. Now, the Georgia Guidestones came down in 2022. Yes, the Georgia Guidestones. They came down in 2022, 42 years after they were erected, because they were erected 3/22/1980. And they came down on 7/6 in 2022 on George Bush Jr.'s 76th birthday. Now 7 times 6 equals 42. The beast of Revelation reigns for 42 months. George Bush Jr. was the US president during 9/11, and Flight 175 hit the World Trade Center at 9:03 a.m. Okay, the hijacked Flight 175 struck floors 77 to 85 of the South Tower of the World Trade Center 17 minutes later at 9:03 a.m. 903 is the 42nd triangular number. Now, I find it extremely interesting that the police were never able to find out who destroyed the Georgia Guidestones. I personally believe that is because it was an act from God, just like how he destroyed the Tower of Babel, as the tower represented tyranny, and man had too much power and intelligence and not enough wisdom, and they were playing God. And that's what's going on right now, guys, during these end of days, man playing God. Now, the Tower of Babel was destroyed and left in ruins, and the same can be said for the Georgia Guidestones. The Georgia Guidestones were always mysterious and strangely magnetic, drawing tourists and miscreants alike during their 42-year lifespan. Mullinix thought of them fondly because he laid their foundation and once owned the red clay on which they were placed. He helped build the Guidestones on behalf of an enigmatic stranger whose real name he never knew. How mysterious. Before dawn, on July the 6th, 2022, an explosion shook the walls at the Mullinix house, almost half a mile up the highway. The Guidestones were badly damaged and would later be demolished. Mullinix took it personally. "Well," he said, "I was disappointed to think that somebody would go to the extreme to destroy something that has not hurt anybody one way or the other for 42 years. I mean, it's been here. Why would you want it to be destroyed? I believe it was an act of God. Straight up. So here's George W. Bush, guys. Confirmation his birthday's 7/6. He was born the same year as Donald Trump, who witnessed 9/11 firsthand, so he told us. But the Georgia Guidestones came down on George Bush's 76th birthday, which falls on 7/6, which just so happens to be my girlfriend's birthday. Now, the Georgia Guidestones had 10 inscriptions, and God, of course, wrote the 10 Commandments. Now, anyone with spiritual discernment knows that Satan is a counterfeit, which explains why George Floyd was murdered for paying with a counterfeit $20 bill. Derek Chauvin murder trial, how a fake $20 bill led to George Floyd's death, who died in 2020. Alright? Satan does evil in the name of love. I've shown you that for years. And I believe he was behind the 10 inscriptions on the Georgia Guidestones. Number 1 is really satanic. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. This is basically depopulation, which is happening at a great scale right now. Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Do we really believe that the justice system is fair, guys? Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. Now let's look at the 10 Commandments, which were written by God's finger. You shall have no other gods before me. We know that Satan tempted Jesus for 40 days and 40 nights, and he basically told Jesus to bow down to him. You shall not make idols. Guys, George Floyd became an idol, became a hero. Look at this. This is idolatry. This is idolatry, which God frowns upon. Okay? He became an idol. Look at this. Be the change. Go vote. Look at the angel wings here. Look at the Baphomet here. I've shown you this is the Baphomet. It's Baphomet worship. It's why all your top footballers do this celebration now, it seems. Okay? Fight racism. Fight. Think of that word. Fight. That's the devil. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Honor your father and your mother. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet. We are in a spiritual war, and the devil wants your soul. Remember when Joe Biden said, we're coming for your soul, America? All right, it's time to give yourself to Christ today, guys, and by doing so, you will overcome the devil. It's the only way you can overcome the devil is through Christ, who defeated him on the cross. Why did they say the devil went down to Georgia? The song tells a story about the devil's failure to gain a young man's soul through a fiddle playing contest. The song begins as a disappointed devil arrives in Georgia, apparently way behind on stealing souls, when he comes upon a young man named Johnny who is playing a fiddle, and quite well. He wants your soul, guys. He wants your soul. And how interesting, guys, that Georgia are going to be playing at Euro 2024. It will be their first appearance in a European Championship. Georgia. Now, George Floyd died in the Twin City of Minneapolis, Check this out. Ex-NBA player Steven Jackson looks almost identical to George Floyd, and Jackson and Floyd were close friends and even had a nickname for each other. Twin. For Steven Jackson, who had a 14-year NBA career, mostly with the Spurs, Pacers, Warriors, and Hornets, Floyd's death was deeply personal. Once we saw each other, the first question we asked, who your daddy? Who your daddy? We know, guys, that God is our Father. And it went from there. We always hung together. Every time I went to Houston, it was my first stop, to stop and pick him up. What's killing me the most about this whole thing is being a professional athlete. So many people abuse your friendship and your kindness. And he was one of those guys that genuinely supported me. He didn't call unless he really needed it. And you don't have many people that genuinely support you without any motives. And Floyd was that guy. So just making George Floyd look like this great guy. My girlfriend's mum is from Minnesota, and we talk about these type of things all the time. And she sends me videos all the time. So I was actually asleep on the couch with my daughter, and she sent me the video. And I looked at the video, and I was thinking it was just another video that she was sending me. Another black man getting murdered by the police. And I didn't really pay attention to it. As I clicked out of the message, I had 50 messages. And I clicked on one of them from my friend, Mike D. And he said, "You see what they did to your twin in Minnesota?" Guys, Minnesota's in Minneapolis, which is the Twin City. And I jumped up, screamed, scared my daughter, almost broke my hand, punching stuff because I was so mad. Because I'm the type of guy, I get mad. And I get into a full face of tears when I see a homeless man on the street that I can't help. Really? Really? So let alone my best friend on TV for the world to see getting killed over a fraud charge off a fake $20 bill. It just destroyed me. I haven't been the same since I've seen it. Guys, since George Floyd died, Steven Jackson has been given a major platform, especially when it comes to podcasts. Jackson received media attention for an impassioned speech he gave at a protest rally in Minnesota. In it, he stated, "I'm here because they're not going to demean the character of George Floyd, my twin." Jackson and Floyd called each other twin due to their similar physical appearance. Maybe, just maybe, Jackson and Floyd were the same person. Here's George Floyd. Look what's behind him, guys. The bricks, which connects to Freemasonry. He had an eagle tattoo on his chest, which connects to Freemasonry. And here is Steven Jackson. Pretty much looks like George Floyd with a beard. Okay? How interesting. How interesting. And they were best friends, guys, and they called each other twin. George Floyd died in 2020, the same year that Kobe Bryant died. And Steven Jackson, who played in the NBA for many years, he played against Kobe many times, he said the following about Kobe Bryant in an interview in 2018. He said, "I killed Kobe." Look at his jersey as well, that says Killers on it. This was in 2018. All right? Big three. Well, look at this. Steven Jackson and Kobe Bryant. "I killed Kobe too." All right? "I killed Kobe too." How interesting. And this guy, guys, if you watch this interview, I'll leave it in the description. He seems really ashamed. Really ashamed of what's going on here. Just look. Now here's Kobe Bryant with Steven Jackson, aka what looks to be George Floyd. How very interesting, guys. How very interesting. We know Kobe died in a helicopter crash. We were told planes were behind 9/11. George Floyd died the year that LeBron, King James, and LA Lakers won the 2020 NBA Finals 4-2 on National Father-Daughter Day versus Miami Heat. The Lakers beat the Heat, guys, 4-2. The Beast reigns for 42 months. Lakers beat the Heat. Basically, that was a lake of fire ritual, guys. Now, King James, all right, former King of England, he was born on 6/19. And King James connects to the King James Bible, the Bible in which I read daily, and the one that we all should be reading during these end times. Well, look at this, guys. Albert Pike Memorial. The Albert Pike Memorial is a public artwork in Washington, D.C., erected in 1901 and partially demolished in 2020 by protesters responding to the murder of George Floyd. And when was it partially demolished? On June the 19th, 619, on the anniversary of King James being born. LeBron's nickname is King James. Michael Jordan was drafted on 619, the GOAT, the same year that LeBron James, King James, was born, 1984, which connects to George Orwell's 1984 book, which is about a dystopian society. You see how our whole reality is coded, guys? Can you see this? Now look at this image here. All right, here's LeBron, Anthony Davis. Black Lives Matter. The NBA really pushed it. Look how these guys are wearing masks, but these guys don't need to. Okay? They're distancing from one another. These guys don't need to. And they're taking the knee, guys, which heavily connects to Freemasonry. All right? And it's mocking Christ as well, guys, because in the Bible, it says that all knees will bow. Romans 14:11, for it is written, as I live, saith the Lord, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to God. So, taking a knee, guys, for Black Lives Matter is blasphemy. Okay? That's what it is. And Black Lives Matter was heavily pushed in 2020, the year that LeBron, Anthony Davis, and the Lakers win the NBA Finals on National Father-Daughter Day. Now look at this, guys. A face mask that says, I can't breathe. Black Lives Matter. We are living out the end of days. Okay? Honestly. We're living out the end of days. This guy believes he's doing a noble act. And guys, all these protests, they never work out, do they? They never work out. Now, Chauvin kept his knee on Floyd's neck for almost a minute after the ambulance arrived, despite Floyd being silent and motionless. Around 8:29, again, why not say around 8:30? Because it's all coded. Around 8:29, paramedics lifted Floyd onto a stretcher. Well, by the way, I saw a policeman lift him up onto the stretcher, then loaded him into an ambulance. 829, guys, is the 145th prime number. The word Catholic equals 145. Israel, who's currently at war with Hamas, declared its independence in 1948 on 14/5. We're told George Floyd died at age 46. Catholic equals 46. The year that George Floyd died, guys, LeBron James became 4-6 in NBA Finals. Convenient, eh? Here's the image of Derek Chauvin just kneeling on George Floyd. People are videoing this but not doing anything about it. How interesting. To say that he was kneeling on him for what, 9 minutes and 29 seconds? People were just taking video? Really? What does that say about mankind if this is genuine? Now check out this mockery. Former boxing champion Floyd Mayweather paid for George Floyd's funeral and memorial services. He paid $88,500 to cover 4 memorials in 4 states. Guys, the 4th horseman of Revelation is death. And he paid $88,500 for George Floyd's funeral and memorial services, even though he never knew George Floyd or his family. This is God sending out great delusions during the end of days, guys. Floyd Mayweather never knew George Floyd. Floyd Mayweather is obsessed with money. Do you think he would just pay for some random guy's funeral and memorials? Alright. Here's the check. George Floyd's funeral services. Okay. 88,500. Come on, guys. Floyd Mayweather. Now, Hollywood celebrities, musicians, and politicians gathered in front of the golden casket of George Floyd. Why did he need a golden casket, guys? A golden casket. When George Floyd was laid to rest in Houston, numerous entertainers, athletes, and activists attended the funeral to pay their respects. Actors, yes guys, actors, Jamie Foxx and Channing Tatum, and NFL players J.J. Watt and D.J. Reader were among those seen in the congregation at Fountain of Praise Church. The Reverend Al Sharpton presided over the service, while Neo delivered an emotional take on Boyz II Men's It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday during the memorial. Again, Jamie Foxx, Channing Tatum, J.J. Watt, D.J. Reader, and Neo didn't know who George Floyd was, yet they went to his funeral. And Neo is singing. Stephen Jackson was also in attendance and seen sitting with Floyd's 6-year-old daughter, Gianna. Kobe's daughter, who died with him in the helicopter crash, was called Gianna. And LeBron James won the 2020 NBA Finals the year George Floyd died, and he won it on National Father-Daughter Day. And we've got Stephen Jackson in attendance sitting with Floyd's 6-year-old daughter, called Gianna. Here's Neo performing, perfect image here, just covering up one of George Floyd's eyes in his black and white Masonic outfit. Guys, they're on the same team. It's Team Satan. Simple as that. Look at Channing Tatum here. Look at this. What's he doing there? Another I can't breathe mask. Guys, we're living in a spiritual war. Alright? Putting the hands up like this, isn't that what you do when a police officer's firing at you? You put your hands up. So, this is quite a remarkable video, which should be shared worldwide. It shows you we live in a coded reality. It shows you the devil exists. The level of deception is off the charts. Alright? The world is coming to an end. Alright? It's essential that we all repent now. Satan is reigning right now. He's trying to take as many souls as he can to the lake of fire. Okay? And the only way you can avoid that is your faith in Christ, who is the way, the truth, and the life, and the only way to heaven is through him. So again, remember, the heart is easily deceived. And Satan is aware of that. And he exploits the human heart. And what about George Michael, who died on Christmas Day, and his most famous song is Last Christmas, where he says, "Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away." And also keep an eye, guys, on Prince George, the youngest son of Prince William. Keep an eye on him. Absolutely incredible stuff here, guys. Remember, George slayed the dragon, and Jesus Christ defeated the red dragon, Satan, when he died on the cross and resurrected 3 days later. Please like, please share, and please support this work. Much love. Take care. God wins.